All right, just a couple of quick notes before we get started here today. There will be no bullying or harassment of anybody mentioned in this video or anybody in the chat or the comments. Those are real quick ways to get yourself a ban. Today we will be talking about Christianity and religion. I am not an expert on religion. I am just a person with an opinion. And as such, thoughts, feelings, and opinions expressed on this channel are solely my own thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Just a quick note for Jimmy and his friends. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might be otherwise infringing. All right, with that out of the way, hello, lovely people of the internet. 'Tis I, Ophelia, aka Savage Minnow, or you can still call me Red. I got no beef with that. I'm here today to react to an old Jimmy Snow video, and I believe that it is, I think, the first Tommy McMurtry video. If not the first one, it's the one that kind of spurred the backlash from Tommy McMurtry, which then led to the whole pumpkin saga. Just a reminder, everyone. Hello, everyone. Yes, great timing if you just made it. Yay. Glad to have you here. Just a reminder, I am a former supporter of Jimmy's, financial backer as well. And I don't want to send him any hate. I just realize now that some of the things I did not see early on were kind of red flags when it comes to Jimmy's behavior. So that's one of the reasons why we're going back and doing all these retro reacts. This is week 2 because unfortunately my Nana is on hospice right now, and I'm kind of just dealing with that stuff. And I'm working on doing a series about the fall of the non sequitur show, perhaps the rise and fall of the non sequitur show. And that's going to be coming up. It was going to be this week, but like I said, with everything with Nana, it's just not happening. But I'm hopefully going to be getting that together for next week. Yes, fix my ears, change color. They are programmed to like change color whenever like people follow or stuff like that. So they might flash and stuff like that as we go. I did originally have them set to like twinkle and change, but people said that it was really distracting if they were just like always changing. So yeah, a little bit different format today. Usually I make Jimmy small, but as this is a really old Jimmy video where he made other people small, I'm actually just going to go and like pop myself into just like a corner instead, basically. I can do that really quickly. I think I can. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. They're I don't know how distracting they are, so but I did try to like kind of minimize some of the alerts on them and stuff, so they're not just like always going. But there was when I did the Kent Hovind video a while back, if you guys saw, somebody actually like, I guess they bought a bunch of bot follows on my account so that like the alerts would just keep going, and it was like so distracting that I like had to like end the video and call it quits. So yeah, it can be irritating from time to time. But yeah, we are back into this early era of the Jimothy videos, and I do have my bingo callers card out today for anybody who is playing Jimmy Snow bingo at home. It's the same callers card as the other day, but I'm going to use a different color pen because, you know, save paper. But this, I believe, is the origins. Oh, I should move up because he's got himself in this corner for right now. Here, I'll go over here. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you dizzy. I believe this might be some of the origins of the original Pumpkin Saga. So yeah, um, it might be a double bingo card. We shall see. We shall see. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. Merch and stuff in the description, whatever. Then I don't feel like bothering.
Mr. Atheist, what good could a show like this even do? Maybe I should introduce a cooking segment. Before we get started, I want to say my
Copyright,
show is usually family friendly, at least this Thursday show, but this week it's not going to be. So things went down and I have a lot to say, and a lot of the things that I want to say, they have swear words involved. But first of all, this week's episode is in response to—
That's kind of funny in like retrospect, just because we all know that Jimmy's show is anything but family friendly these days. And it hasn't been for a while. How quickly after this did it fall off and just like not be family friendly at all?
To a question that my friend Demi had. Demi has a channel called Anti-Ordinary, and she was so wonderful as to record her question, so here that is.
Did he start this episode with some god-awful accents? Dear Mr. Atheist, hi. So, we have been friends for such a long time now. It must be about a whole month.
I don't think they actually still have a channel. I tried to look for it, but I could not find their channel. There is a link, but when I clicked on it, it says the channel doesn't exist.
What is the main motivator for you to want to make these videos, and what do you hope to achieve by making them? I might be only supposed to ask one question, but fuck your rules. I'm on the channel, bitch.
Good on her.
Cut that out because his shows are like, oh, I'm so professional. I can do things just so professional. I don't have to swear. I have a brain. If you could answer that, and thank you. And thank you for your voice and your videos. They're amazing.
Thank you, Demi, and if you haven't already subscribed to Anti-Ordinary, I highly recommend you do. Now, I was planning on responding
Unfortunately,
to
we
this
can't.
in a sort of typical manner of like, here's all the ways that this kind of show can benefit the world. Here's a list of those things. The problem is,
someone said in the comments, I vividly remember the slow movement from curse words bad to this is going to get me demonetized to F-bombs. Okay. So it was a slow movement. Interesting.
something happened. Specifically, this happened. This comment happened. And so instead, I want to talk.
I remember this. I remember this video.
So instead, hang on.
I do love this.
You bet your ass I am. So in talking today about my motivations for the show, what I hope to get out of this, I want to.
Trailer Debris asks if, isn't it more like don't curse in the first 30 seconds? I think it's more along like 3 minutes, but yeah, it's like also no like sexual talk and stuff in the first like 3 minutes. And that'll get you demonetized. But yeah, you can kind of put it in later on.
I want to talk a little bit about what motivates people to do things like this. So I'm going to start by telling you about a preacher. His name, well, I'm not going to tell you his full name. I'm not going to tell you how to find his channel because this guy is a leech who lives off of the attention. But to make things consistent,
I think we're talking
we'll
about
call him
several
That Matt
preachers.
Guy. Not too long ago, that Matt guy showed up on a show called Skylar Fiction. I'm going to show you what he said, but it occurs to me that watching these people talk can be kind of painful, so you need to hear the words. So if you'd like, instead you can watch me eat this fabulous cupcake while he talks. Go ahead, Matt.
And as far as homeless,
Which, side note, whenever I decide which of these videos that I'm going to do and I do like the thumbnail, I like clip through like really quick without actually watching the video, but just like to get a screen grab to like do my thumbnail off of. And my wife saw like that I was like flicking through this and she's like, he knows what he's doing there, right? He knows what he's doing. And I was like, yeah, I'm absolutely positive that he knows what he's doing.
sexuality goes, you know, I believe the Bible puts a death penalty on it. I believe it's disgusting. And incidentally, every scientific test has come back and said that homosexuals are 50 more times likely to get AIDS.
Okay, so so far off to a great start. Let's kill the homosexuals. but they're 50 times more likely to get AIDS. He does cite after this the CDC. Actually, if you go to the CDC
This is bullshit, by the way.
the statistic is 3 times more likely, which 3 is a much smaller number than 50, but he's a creationist. He doesn't understand how math works. So, now, if you think maybe he was just being vague, here's him actually clarifying his position.
Why? Wait.
Trailer Jabri says that they did not sign up for a mukbang. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's what we got today. Oh, yes. Point for religion is dumb. Yes. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. I will miss those. Religion equals intellectually impaired.
So no, but you're saying you agree that the government should create laws that, in order to execute gay people. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are people who believe that.
That's what the Bible says. I believe the Bible. I didn't write the Bible.
That's not what the Bible says. There are people who believe that that's what the Bible says, and there are like lots of things in the Bible about like who should be executed for what, but butt sex ain't in there. Just saying.
Well, you're talking about,
Anybody can.
you're talking about the Old
Anybody
Testament, right? You're referring to the Old Testament.
Well, it's the New Testament too. Romans chapter 1 says that God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are filthy and disgusting. So, you know, that's, even the
And that's gay stuff. Apparently that's gay stuff.
general population. Skylar, let's just talk about the general population. Even the general population looks at these people and is like, something is really different here.
Put this down for a minute. I'll come back to you later. So here we get to my first motivation. It is that as a result of religion, these terrible ideas are out there. Now, I already can hear the people saying, yeah, but not all Christians are that way. There are Christians who welcome gay people. And
Absolutely. There are absolutely Christians who welcome gay people. Like, a lot of them. In fact, I would go so far as to say, I think probably the majority of Christians that I've met at this point in my life are fairly welcoming of gay people. I think 10 years ago that was different, but I don't think, was it that different like 2 or 3 years ago? I don't know.
sure enough, those people do exist. However, I think it has been demonstrated, certainly to my satisfaction, that no current faith-based religion is true. And here's the thing. If you
let's see. He didn't say all religions are cults. I feel like we should be getting like a point for this. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you notice that we should get a point for something.
you adhere to any faith belief, you prop up the idea that beginning with faith is an acceptable way to decide what is true and what to believe.
Yes, he is wearing eyeliner. He is queering it up for the audience because he was basically called a slur, and he was like, yeah, I'll show you how queer I can be, which I'm in favor of. I'm down for that. If I think we should normalize men wearing makeup, or women not wearing makeup, or people wearing the amount of makeup that they feel comfortable with. I think we should normalize it.
So do I think if you believe in God that you are as bad as this guy or Westboro Baptist Church or ISIS? No, absolutely not. However, you do have the exact same foundation for your belief that they do. And if you are wrong, and I contend you are, by continuing to help perpetuate the idea that that foundation is valid, you don't have any good way to come to me and tell me that they are wrong and you are right. You are both taking these beliefs based on faith.
Again, he's putting them like on the same, like they have to be exactly the same, like all religions are the same. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I feel like, in my opinion, I've noticed that there are kind of two classes of Christianity where I live, where it's like the biblical Christians and then like the people who like follow like the teachings of Jesus kind of more. But that's not to say that like those are the only two classifications of Christians, right? Like there's all like Christianity is as different as there are Christians. It's not a one size fits all religion.
You are both wrong. And while one of you is more radical, the other unintentionally sure, is supporting the foundations of those radical beliefs. And so as you encourage others...
Sorry, I'm going to catch up on comments here real quick. Man's people like me be killed is the same as the Catholic Church. Yeah, like, yeah, the Catholic Church is, like I said, sometimes, open to gay people, and it's not necessarily the same thing. But then again, like, the Catholic Church has like all of its faults too, but that's not to say that like every single parish has its faults, or has those same faults. So again, it's like you can't put them all in the same bag. Oh, also shout out in the chat to Math Pig. I see he's here. You guys should go jump over and follow him on YouTube if you don't already. He's been helping me out with a lot of the research for Non Sequitur Show and all of that stuff. And I'm going to be a guest on his show tomorrow night. So if you want to see me over there, do jump over and follow Math Pig's YouTube channel. All right, back to Jimmy.
Others in society to come to their own faith belief, and they begin to shop around. They come across guys like that Matt guy. They come across guys like Josh Feuerstein
And I think that a lot of people come across these Christians and they're like, oh my gosh, that's BS. I don't agree with Christianity, and it turns them off from Christianity. I think they are kind of shooting themselves in the foot if they're actually trying to bring people to Christ or whatever by having these types of beliefs. But like, that's their right to espouse those beliefs, even if they are ridiculous.
and Steve Anderson, both of whom we're going to talk about. And just because you are sure that your beliefs are right, because you can't demonstrate them to be, as we can with lots of scientific things, you are not going to always win those minds that you are encouraging toward faith. These other guys do too. And that should worry you. Today,
Stephen Anderson's another one that he's going to
just a day before release,
go on about in this video.
It was announced that Justice Kennedy is retiring. He will retire in July. He was the swing vote on gay marriage and on abortion rights.
Wait, who? I missed.
Just a day before release, it was announced that Justice Kennedy is retiring. He will retire in July. He was the swing vote on gay marriage and on abortion rights. He's going to be replaced by Trump, and if Trump's pattern of going with a very right-wing, religiously motivated justice continues to be the case, we can now expect...
Now, I will say she's not like ridiculously right-wing, but yeah, he could have gone worse, but I think that it wouldn't have been, people wouldn't have accepted that nomination.
Lose abortion rights and gay marriage in probably the next year. So whether or not your belief is this radical, those radical beliefs are going through society and winning evangelicals over, sometimes more subtly, sometimes they aren't saying kill the gays, but now we are going to be facing another crisis of rights being taken away where they should have been extended in a secular country such as ours. Let's get back to this Matt guy. He was offered a debate with Russell Glasser of the Atheist.
Yeah, he's talking about Kavanaugh, but we didn't know that it was Kavanaugh yet.
Experience, and that happened on the Non Sequitur show. During this debate, he makes this statement. Wait, let me grab my cupcake. Okay, here we go.
Back to the mukbang.
You know, one time I saw a preacher ripping up the blind watchmaker, and I looked at him. I'm like, "Sir, why are you ripping up some?"
Also, we're going to be talking about this guy in the corner. Like, where is it? Here in a minute. Next week. So, heads up on that.
The greatest evidence against atheism. That's where I'm coming from. I'm like, sir, why are you ripping up some of the greatest evidence against atheism? That's where I'm coming from. I think these guys shoot themselves in the foot.
And then he goes on to say,
in his book, he said, the simplest life has the amount of specified complexity or information in it of 1,000 complete sets of encyclopedias. So basically what he's saying is, look, even the most simple, and this is out of his own mouth. He's saying, look,
what is the next sentence that he said after that?
I don't have it. I just have that specific quote because I take his own quotes.
So you have once again an example of...
So like he's going to jump on him about the, oh, well, he doesn't have like what he said right after that. Like, yeah, he doesn't have like a transcript of everything. He like took notes and like wrote like down important things that were like thinking points to him. Like if it wasn't something that like he thought that, you know, at that point he'd finished his thought, like why would he, is he just going to like print out a transcript and like bring the transcript with him?
of Christian cherry picking. He's gone to a book. He says that he found this one quote and that is clearly indicative of creationism and intelligent design. I mean, that's where he goes with the argument. Russell asked the question, what's the next sentence? And it's a fair question, and actually it's the next paragraph. First of all, he uses the term simplest life.
So again, it's the next paragraph.
Specifically, Dawkins is talking about amoebas and how interesting it is that amoebas don't use 99% of their DNA. They only use roughly 1%, and that this mystery exists.
I forgot that. That is like a weird scientific fact that's interesting.
Of what that other 99% could be. It could be parasitic, it could be many other things. And that's what Dawkins goes on to talk about, is how beautiful and complex life is, but how mysterious it is too. And he certainly isn't making the case that we should...
Which is like a really interesting like concept, right? That like these like animals, basically proto-animals, don't use a good amount of their DNA. So like, what is it like there for, right? If like God supposedly like created perfect beings and this, that, and the other, like what wouldn't like 100% of it like be there for a purpose? Or maybe have like a couple copies just in case, you know, but like use all of like use the whole page, right? Like why print out? It's like when you print out something and like you use like literally like 1 or 2 lines at the top of the page, you're like, what if you had a smaller page that, you know, you only needed that much, that would work, but it's imperfect. It's imperfect.
Should stop looking for the mysterious it is too. And he certainly isn't making the case that we should stop looking for the answer, because guess what? Those answers, since the blind watchmaker has come out, have been being filled in. And it's not complete yet. It's not going to be complete anytime soon.
And that's kind of, I think, what, from my understanding, what Charles Darwin's kind of belief was, that Charles Darwin was a Christian, and he was like, hey, he could see evolution and this whole natural process happening. And, you know, he basically said he was yet to see God's hand in it. But that doesn't mean that like God didn't have a hand in it, in his opinion.
But we are always filling more and more in. So it's so frustrating when people like this cherry pick things as though it makes their case for them, but it only does it if they isolate the quote and they don't give it the appropriate...
But again, he didn't isolate the quote. It was the end of a paragraph.
...context that it actually demands. Now, I could see people pointing out some irony, because I did an episode called Jordan Peterson or Word Salad Generator, and a lot of people think that I was just purposely taking him out of context. When in fact, that was to illustrate that this individual that everyone says always speaks deliberately, also, they always say, needs a ton of context, and you can't.
Interesting. Where have I heard that before? Where have I heard that before? Somebody that says that they use all of the words that they need, but also you need a fucking ton of context. Who? Oh, that's right, Jimmy. It was you.
Have it both ways. So I've
Neither
got to
can
get
you.
out ahead of that. But yes, you have these radical preachers who point to science when it's convenient, and they pick out the parts they want. Remember this? Cupcake.
One thing that science demands, if maybe you've heard of something called the law of thermodynamics.
Oh my gosh, I remember this guy. He's always like in his car talking like a Southern preacher, and he is delivering his what is it, a sermon, and he is telling you how it is. And when he zooms out his camera, you can see all of his like Amazon packages in the back. Because he does like the like drop shipping, like where he, you know, sends out a bajillion packages. So like in the backseat of his car is literally just like tiny packages like piled up. I love this guy. He like cracks my shit up.
Which means that chaos can never produce order.
Chaos can never produce order.
That's not what that means.
Have you ever seen like the little experiment that they do where they take it's like a really stretchy piece of material and like basically a giant embroidery hoop, but like horizontal on the ground. And then they like put a heavy weight in the middle of it. So it becomes like this cone. And then if you just like throw marbles in it, eventually some of them will start just like, and out of chaos, you get organization from chaos. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's
swallow this.
Like you can even like throw them both directions and eventually they'll all just start moving one direction. Like some of them will drop to the bottom and like the rest of them will all continue going one direction. Just saying.
The second law of thermodynamics does not talk about chaos producing order, and there's also a difference between open systems and closed systems, but I've already done a video on taking this apart. I'll throw an info card up now, so if you want to go watch my specific takedown of that one. But in this case, Josh at least is unintentionally honest later in this episode when he says this.
I don't know. I just can't look at all of that creation and say that it was an accident. I have to say that creation has a creator and one.
Now, what part of that was I saying was honest? The very beginning. He started with, I don't know. I agree. You sure don't know. Neither of you know. And neither of you are even trying to get a basic understanding of the sciences that you are certain are incorrect. In his debate, it becomes very clear that he keeps...
I do remember like the whole cream thing being really distracting the first time that I saw this video. And I think it's interesting now, like watching it back, that it's like, I'm getting more context like the second time that I'm watching it because I'm not watching your face, Jimmy.
Quoting The Blind Watchmaker, but hasn't actually read it. Because one of the most important parts and biggest part of that book was about the evolution of the eye. A part in the debate he doesn't even recall being in the book. Oh, and by the way...
So that means that he hasn't read it? Because like I have read like a lot of books where like people will be like, oh, do you remember that part? And I'll be like, no. There's only a couple of books that I'm not like that with. HP series that I like read a bajillion times as a kid. And actually I'm still like that with Dune. I've read Dune probably 8 times now. And I have yet to like finish like Children of Dune or like any of the rest of the series because I always keep going, wait, I missed something. I need to go back and reread Dune.
You remember that comment I showed you at the beginning of the episode? Yeah, well, guess who left that? Yeah, it was that Matt guy. Somehow he found my channel this week and while I was in a live stream decided to try and engage, mostly because he's a media whore and tries to provoke his way onto other people's...
Okay, so it was that idiot. Like, also, but this kid looks like a literal child. How old is this child?
Channels. So I replied like this. Matt is in the live chat. Matt,
you're serious,
man. You've been on a lot of channels. I think you're fucking disgusting and a despicable human being.
Yeah.
And like and subscribe, but also go fuck yourself. Now I went on to say, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will not be live on my channel, but I might make fun of you on my channel. Here I'm actually trying to be more critical, but whatever. So I am motivated to do this.
So again, you gave him the airtime on your terms. Interesting. Because that was on Sirius's channel, right?
Because terrible ideas exist out there, and it is religion propping them up. Are there people that are religious that have escaped from the terrible ideas? Yes, mostly. Except for that believing after suspending your logical faculties and using feelings for reason, that's still dangerous, and it still props the others.
But like, I feel like you kind of went back against this whenever you started talking to Brenda from God is Gray, right? Because like Brenda's like a good Christian in your opinion, right?
Then you get people like this asshole. You're gonna want the cupcake.
This is Tommy McMurtry. Tommy McMurtry is well, he is the beginning of the Pumpkin Saga. You're about to witness it right here, folks.
So let's just open our doors and just love everybody. Look, no queers allowed in this church. And all God's people said, amen. No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here. Never!
Well, we were talking about brilliant science communicators from the side of religion. This asshole goes on to say this.
And speaking of nuts, I have a nut here, okay? And this is a bowl, okay? So listen, this is what a normal person does.
Is it Steven Anderson or Tommy McMurtry? I can't like I have kind of face blindness and they all just like say the same shit. So like he didn't say his name, but it's one of the two of them.
Right. See, I got
Tommy McMurtry was the one who came back. Tommy McMurtry was the one who like came back in response to this. But maybe this is Steven Anderson.
Represent the male, right? We got the nut right here to represent the female. All right. This is what normal people
Sorry,
do,
I don't want to
okay?
like report the
This
wrong
is what-
names.
Now let me show you what insanity says to do. It doesn't work, stupid. See, but people are crazy today. And then here's what they do. They say, oh, Pastor Anderson's crazy.
Okay, that's Steven Anderson. Thank you.
Brilliant. Truly genius. First of all, Steve Anderson has apparently put a lot of thought.
Yes, let's get F's in the chat for this guy's sex life. And his poor wife. And his poor wife. That's, if that's what he thinks that gay sex is like. And like also that's what he thinks that heterosex is like. That sounds boring as fuck.
Into how gay sex works and seems to think that it's just poking your dicks at each other. That you think complex things about love and sex and romance can be summarized by a 2-minute trip to the goddamn Home Depot says that while you've been putting thought into it,
Jimmy,
maybe
this
you
is
haven't
creative.
put enough thought into it. Now, Steve, listen, if you were trying to get my attention, you only had to ask for my number. You didn't have to go through all of this, go to the Home Depot, get your nut and screw, smack them together, and make just silly noises. Had you done that years ago, maybe we could have been making beautiful, wonderful noises together, but I'm afraid I'm just not interested now. Okay, now, listen. We make a lot of jokes on here, and I don't think it's always great to make jokes carelessly. And so this pejorative idea that
Chris says that they have a lot of children, the Andersons. I feel really bad for his wife then.
homophobes are just self-hating homosexuals and it's the movement destroying itself from within. I don't adhere to that. So I want to say, and I want some help saying very clearly to all of you, please remember, Steven Anderson is not a secret homosexual.
Steven Anderson is not a secret
Hey, Sirius.
Steve Anderson is not.
Hi, Alexander.
Steven Anderson is not
I
a
don't
secret
know
homosexual.
this person.
Steven Anderson is not a
Talk
secret
even.
homosexual.
Steven Anderson is not a secret
I don't know her.
Steven Anderson is.
Oh, I didn't know
not a
Kate was on
secret
here.
homosexual.
Hi, Kate.
Steve Anderson is not a secret homosexual.
Talk even.
Steven Anderson.
Hi, Kyle. We'll talk more about you next week.
Speaking of nuts, cram it down my throat.
Hey, what about that Matt guy?
Yes, queen.
I took the last bite. So let me finish up here by saying, the reason I am motivated to do this is to counter bad ideas. Because I think atheism, which...
Ooh, Chris says that Fundy Fridays has a video about the Andersons. I don't know if I've seen that yet. I will have to check it out. I absolutely love Fundy Fridays. If you're not familiar with that channel, go check it out on YouTube. Also, there was... okay, I was like, I missed something in the comments. Home Depot absolutely can be a romantic date. And the wood aisle alone is all right, back to Jimmy.
Isn't much of itself, but atheism is the logical conclusion. But beyond that, what you can do when you take away faith and you say, I'm only going to believe those things that are logical, and you get that standard of, I want to believe as many true things as possible and as few false things as possible, I think that's ultimately a huge positive for people. In a future episode, I'll talk about the idea of why take faith away from those people who get so much happiness from it and that's their whole world. Because I do think everyone should turn away from faith. I don't believe in actually taking it away, but everyone should acknowledge.
Again, I respect that, like, that's his opinion. I do think that it's like, I guess, good that he's like, oh, well, I don't think that like religion should be taken away from them. I think that they should turn away from it. For those of you who aren't familiar, I am an atheist, but like, I don't like bash on religious people. Like, if religious people want to be religious and they find comfort and something positive from that, good. I hope that they are able to not pick up a lot of the negative that comes along with most religions, in my opinion. But I always say, like, I've yet to find a perfect religion, but that doesn't mean that it's not out there. So
that faith is not a pathway to truth. And anytime you need to use faith to believe in something, you're better off just not believing in that thing. And I want these people these worst people,
These
the human
people.
garbage, trash, excrement of the world, to be lost in history. A shame.
Again, that's another thing that you won't find on my channel is I'm not going to say that like people are garbage. I think that these people's opinions are garbage. I think that their views towards LGBT people are garbage. I think that their views towards minorities in general are garbage. I think that their views about sex are garbage, but I don't think that they are garbage people. There's probably other things about their views that I think are garbage too. Those were the only things off the top of my head.
Shame of the terrible things they said and did. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you hate it,
Let's not. We don't have to. It's okay. It's okay. All right. I'll get this one big again. How about that? There we are. Oh no. What did I do? Oh, so I said I hate that I'm defending atheists, but come on. Yeah. Oh my, looks like there were some issues in the chat, but apparently it's possessed. The chat is possessed right now, at least on the Twitch side of things. Heads up on that. Maybe Steven Anderson's friendly ghosts came to possess our chat. Oh, yes. Somebody pointed out that is a logical conclusion for him. I'm going to give that a point too. It's a logical fallacy. It's not a logical fallacy if I do it. Now, I don't even know if I got enough for a bingo this time. Weirdly, I think I only got like 5. I got religion equals intellectually impaired, superfluous soapboxing, mocks belittles hobby that he's not into. Again, it's not a logical fallacy if I do it. Meh. And then there was definitely some mockery McMockerson going on. Does Jimmy think he is God's gift to mankind the way that everybody wants him in a sexual way? I tend to pick up those vibes from a lot of his videos, especially when he does those things like that. Yeah, it's very much the oh, I can't think of the word right now. Sorry, my brain is not working, but it's like the pickup artist kind of type shit that he's like, oh yeah, like you. Now I do remember him talking a lot during, I guess not during this period. I kind of got to know him a little bit later than this. I think I was a viewer at this point in time, but I hadn't actually gotten to know him. And the opinion that I got from him later on as his numbers were just starting to grow is he was just like, well, you know, you fake it till you make it. And I do get that a lot from his early videos where it's like, I don't know if it is confidence or if it's like, it's almost like a hollow confidence. Like, oh yes, I'm gonna, you know, fake it till you make it, really. And I do know, like for myself, when I first started out streaming, because you do kind of just have to be like, yeah, I'm talking to myself and I'm just like, not going to worry about it. And even now, sometimes I like the chat will like mess up and disappear or whatever. And I am just like sitting here talking to myself. But like, there is like real confidence. And then there's like I said, that hollow confidence. And I do feel like this early stage of him is very much a fake it till you make it. Trail of Debris said, is it the confidence of a mediocre white guy? Or maybe it's Maybelline. So poignant for this video in particular. I love it. I love it. Well, that is what I've got for you guys this morning. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I will try to keep an eye on both chats, the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat. It is a little bit difficult, but let me know if I think there is technically enough for somebody to get bingo, but they would have to all be lining up, I think. Yes, Trail of Debris definitely slays. You crack me up like so much for like being in text format. Like I feel like usually comedy is like so much like vocal timing and stuff, but like I don't know how you managed to do it like in chat. Yes, you're great. You are great. All right, guys. Well, I'm probably going to jump off. I've got a little bit of shopping to do and stuff like that. But thank you all for coming out today. If today's your birthday, I want to wish you a very happy birthday. Either way, I hope you make it a good one. I do want to thank all of my monetary supporters really quick before I go. These are all guys who have helped me out either buying merch or helped me out in some other way financially. The Cora St. Clair, the awesome Savage Momma, who is probably watching from home today. She's sitting with Savage Nana today. So TikTok Bunny and Peapot Fairy, thank you guys so much. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one. I should be back tomorrow with another react. I'm going to try and do 5 more this week. So thank you, Trailer.